The set is coming to a close with PB of set 18 dropping next week. Therefore, I believe it's a great time to take a look at some of the highest potentials this set truly had in store. And as such, for today, we're going to be jumping in the game with Mecmeno. And when I saw the final board of this, I was just puzzled. Therefore, let's see how he managed to arrive there. We are playing in a Thresh and Aurelian Soul game with all 3 gold augments being our encounter. Starting out here, playing around the possibility of playing around the Primordial opener for econ generation. Could also opt to hold on to this Pantheon here. Going to sell, going to hold the Pantheon, but going to sell the Veigar. Did not see, I would assume, a Rod or any form of a potential to play around JG. Instead, holding on to these 2 time breakers. Holding on to the Samira because I assume we have the IE and we might consider Samira reroll, but I would truly consider that as a line from too tanky. Otherwise, I would greatly prefer playing around Space Groove. And we have the possibility to hold on to Caitlyn, given, you know, Akali is running all over the meta. But let's see how we fare. For our augment, we are offered Heroic Grab Bag, which is decent for reroll, but I greatly prefer that than to be hit on 3-2 or 4-2. On 2-1, we could use something like, for example, here, dupe out the Samira 2, but we do not have the front line to support it, really. Pandora's items is great for accelerating item tempo, but our board is a little bit on the weaker side, therefore we're not going to be able to capitalize on as much. Earth is another augment that I am not too big of a fan on playing around on 2-1, since it requires a gold augment investment and a component investment. It's a lot of tax, especially in the early game. You're going to be sacrificing a lot of tempo. But since we do not have a clear direction, and our board is not going to be the strongest one right now, and we have the possibility for the broken trade quest to come out of the Aurelian Soul, this has a potential for quite high of an upside. Epoch, generic, Econ augment, a little bit better if you're able to immediately capitalize on level 4 board without having to level. You can also utilize those free rerolls for the possibility to simply strengthen your board. Birthday Reunion, I believe it now, yeah, it got the gold taken away. Now it gives only 1 gold. Before that, you could just pump on level 5 on to 2. I believe it's still the play and has the potential, but again, you would want a little bit of a stronger board. Maybe a little bit of gold influx now to make that hit. And we are going to be going with the Earth. Now, I am not exactly sure what our plan is going to be here. We could go with a safe version of making the Dark Stars path, use this go. We're going to be slamming IE though. Slamming IE and considering maybe playing into the Space Groove this way. I am not sure because the Samira comp doesn't really utilize the +1. I would have thought we make the Darkstar, we have open glove, maybe we find many rods somehow, but that's a gamble and we have to lose streak for that, and that's not something you want to do with turfs. Otherwise, we could have just held on to a Nova, play in some kind of Nova flex, but we do not have bows for the Kindred and still could play into a Kali, I suppose. This is why taking Earths is just a little bit of a pickle, and we are going to be going here with 2 Sniper, 2 Brawler level there for aggressive play, and decided to go a little bit on a walk ourselves, because, well, we bought the units, we do not have many options. Seraphim Staff, this player might be considering playing into Lissandra, but maybe Mech doesn't. Well, Mech is fine with it since it doesn't gain the Aurelian Soul. Mech doesn't gain the mana from auto-attacking. Now we pick up the Akali. This is why I perhaps wanted to consider the possibility of holding on to, right, slamming the IE. Well, it did net us 2 wins, so it was a worthwhile slam. But I don't think we scouted the lobby that much. Loot Singularity, I guess the Darkstar line is quite contested. Again, I don't recall us scouting the lobby. So perhaps he's just simply going off the vibes as many of these top players are. The ladder is a little dry, and they know that as long as they play for the high potential win-outs, they can do it, and having strong early game is one of the ways. We get offered trade quest, we click trade quest, and now, again, we have to consider this open component carefully. We're picking up a bow. Perhaps for a last whisper potential, since we're on 3 stake, could have considered potentially going for something that would enable us to streak right here from this Rek'Sai continue our streak level up here for the Veigar for Replicator. We're probably considering the potential how we could be blocking this trade quest. We need to activate another trait, and that would require us to immediately though be level 6 unless we find I'm not exactly sure what we could exactly find right now either. It's a little tricky to figure out this board, but let's see how he manages to do so. And we are going to be losing our 3 streak here despite leveling. Again, one of those things we have to consider how... This is why you have to be scouting a little bit more aggressively, right? Picking up an Ezreal pair, that's fine, but I don't think the Samira with an IE without a mana generating item. She has the Earth for the mana gen, but is going to be having a rough time. Also, that is the reason why I perhaps would have preferred a sword in case we are playing around the Samira. That's our plan, and that would also indicate that we could still be trying to consider playing into the Darkstar line, but they just utilize this IE for a Jhin. But then we need rods, we need some kind of mid-game carry, and Karma just stunlocks herself, so she's quite bad of a carry unless you are heavily tempoing. Going to be slotting into Darkstar this way, and that allows us to proc the trade quest right away. Going to be hopefully establishing some form of direction from this next emblem that we are going to be picking up. But unless we could be, I assume we're not going to be making Econ intervals heavy here. We're going to sell this Rek'Sai, so again we're sacrificing a lot of tempo, a lot of counterintuitive plays that I am interested to seeing how he's going to approach. We established some tempo on stage 2. We have some HP lead that we could be sacking now to go fast 8, but we do not really have that potential to go fast 9 from this kind of a board. If this is winning, I am done. Okay, we are queuing in a level 4 savings account player, but they have that Jax too, they have the talent too that's going to rip up our backline, but this Samira is putting in quite a bit of work. Nonetheless, she's going to be taken out. We didn't opt to go for slams. Maybe with a slam we could have won, but again, we want to establish our direction, know what we're going to be playing for ourselves, climb the ladder. Great if we wanted to commit to that Space Groove line, but are we? We do not have a open tier for the Space Groove emblem either. Arcane Victory, better in your stall comps. We have a Rage Blade, but Rage Blade IE, there's no real holder in the set for it. Magic Roll can be generally considered as a item augment. Again, items could provide us with some direction. And there is also the potential, if you hit the 4 same component, get a Reforger for your trade quest, and then figure out something from there. Probably the best option right now, even though items would lean more into the tempo. These other two options simply are too niche for our possibility. Forwards thinking, our board is cheap. If we had a clear plan of where we're going with this, we could be considering... Also, we probably should have tapped out here and picked up that Aurelian Orb to see what we're going to be doing with it. Crown of Demacia, certain niche comps, something like a Jinx reroll, I believe it's fine. Otherwise, not too hot on the item myself. Now we're going to be tapping out, picking up. We give it an Anima emblem, and our roll, the dice is going to give us 4 tiers. Now we have a couple of Reforgers, and it seems... we pick up an Lawi to wait. We are pretty close to 5 Anima. We're going to be digging super deep for this in order to establish 5 Anima. We have that Aurora picked up. We have, yeah, we don't even need this Briar. We just wanted some sort of board, because the thing is with 5 Anima, now we have this HP lead, but we still want to be trying to win these fights, right? This is a scaling trait. You want to be, you're going to be getting cash outs every single time, if I'm not mistaken. But you definitely want. So let's just quickly take this chance to check out what the tables are, how we could be ended up scaling, how we should adjust our game plan from this. The always trustable little buddy bot. So each player combat, we are going to be gaining loot. We have some items, some gold, these gloves, which are fine as well for a form of flex slot. But the big ones are the Voyager emblem. The duplicators allows you to go for those 3 stars. We already have an Alawi 2, so we definitely could be chasing Alawi 3, which is a great tank. But the Voyager emblem, strongest emblem in game, the buff is insane. Getting to 5 Voyager with this is quite achievable, since you already have an Aurora as well. Challenger emblem is just fine to, you know, maybe you play around Jinx carry, and since we have that IE, is probably a possibility. So we have to be planning around some Voyagers, Challengers, probably keeping this Adam around and then figuring out how we're going to scale our board. Picking up an early Tahm Kench, which would be amazing to rebound our econ. We're going to be going with Rage Blade, Void Staff as well, and create a Shepherd Emblem through this, creating a pan and reforging. This is a nice way we have opted to string together this board. This Tahm Kench is going to allow us to rebound the econ a little bit much, together with the Anima cash outs as well. And playing around this LeBlanc is a valuable pickup that we had, as otherwise our board is not offering that much, and we opted to also reforge that IE, right, for a... I missed what we exactly reforged. There were a lot of actions going on that turn, but now it seems that we are going to be playing around. Well, we have a lot of mana gen. LeBlanc is a unit that can theoretically be quite flexible, right? We have that Shepherd Emblem, so just keeping a 3-for-3 Shepherd here is fine, and she can just hold on to these. She can just, yeah, she's going to utilize these items. We checked in. This is in Portuguese, so I'm not going to try to decipher exactly what the bonus was. Nonetheless, we're generally looking for something from the attacks to gain raw AP. Particularly with this build, we have some attack speed. We definitely want some AP into her. And hopefully she's going to be able to hold ourselves around, right? There was also this Nova LeBlanc variant where I'm referring to the LeBlanc being so flexible of a unit. She does not really need her traits to be that efficient. Her traits are not selfish, therefore she has that raw power budget. We're going to be cashing out some duplicators. The only worrisome part is that we are kind of poor, and I mean, we're looking at level 7 on 4-2 or something, and maybe we can chase Lilawi 3 on level 7, and there's a player with 2 Space Groove emblems. That is the trade quest special coming in right there. Dude just gets 7 Space Groove for free, doesn't have to play any anti-phones on his board, and is going to be having an absolute blast in his time. Probably one of the players who we have to watch out for that can probably outcap us despite our early 5 Anima. Cashing out the Challenger emblem. I mean, just fine to toss onto anyone. I do not really fall for the bait on LeBlanc. I mean, it would be fine on LeBlanc now, but I think just the Voyager is going to be a little bit more value. And particularly whenever you're playing something that's going to giving this many items, you want those extra removers to maneuver your items around. Leveling to 7, slopping in the Meepsy for another Voyager, and just trying to play the strongest board any way we can. Right, going to be itemizing the Jinx, just trying to get some items. No, going to reforge the blue buff and get the Steadfast, Sterex, sorry. So we could just simply utilize our 3rd tank item. We have 3 item tank as a fundamental with the 3 item backline carries. Have already started itemizing our duo carry. Should be decently fine on this stage despite being only level 7. Go slow 8, and we are going to be getting more cash outs, right? And if we cash out more Voyager emblems, we have considerable spikes around this. For Shepherd, for a while, I assume that would just be until we have get rid of the Meepsy. More duplicators. Now the big grab bag generally good if you need more items, but we're going to be cashing our emblems. We have the possibility for TGs. I don't think we've done that many items. Same goes for the Divine Artifact. Which one would even be good? Maybe Soraka's? I don't know. But leaning towards reinforcement at this point. I mean, level 7 you can hit something and that could help you stabilize, but we don't have that much to roll with right now. He's going to be passing it up. Second win is I like it quite much. Going to establish our help our front line be more durable. We have scaling aspect from this Rage Blade. I'm still playing around this LeBlanc. A great pickup, especially if we're going to pump out a Laoi 3 as we are only a couple of copies away. And then Salvage Bin, can't break apart emblems. Could help us move around with this. We have the Rage Blade Voice Staff, make a red buff from that for that Jinx, and then what you are left with Archangels. Not sure about that. We do not need the Jin, so this is probably just going to be the best option we have right now to be playing around the second win. And also, the neat thing we notice is that we have a million mana gen. This is also why the Voyager emblem on LeBlanc is quite nice. We have million mana gen from the Earths. The hindsight to pick this up, I just don't know. This is a 1 in a million game we're going to be seeing if we are able to win out. Now, the lobby doesn't seem that rich here. The account player hasn't hit that much. He has one Zaya, still playing around the Samira too. 1-star frontline, has some combat power into him, but Jude Lotus is not the strongest one on the Zaya, and we have the IE on the Samira. This player might be in a rough spot, and we have the possibility to make that Ilawi 3 right away. Let's see if we're going to be going with it. We have some HP. We greatly were able to tempo off our very deep roll down onto the stage 3 that we have this HP lead that we might just be holding on to, because probably we want to be chasing also something like a Jinx 3 maybe with this build, and then just move. I'm not sure if we're planning to keep playing around this LeBlanc. This seems to be a birthday reunion that was trying to play around this. Yeah, this is the Master Yi board. Didn't exactly find a spot to go level 9. Going to be going with Thresh rather than the level 9 quest since we are so far away. And allowing us ourselves with the Thresh as well, giving us even more scaling that we can have because we are able to pick up another free round right there. This is amazing stuff for ourselves. More duplicators coming in. Are we going to be pulling the trigger on to the Ilawi right now? Going to sort out that anti-heal with the bow pickup, leveling to 8. Well, now it's an interesting question. We only need one more copy of either. So we're probably going to be holding off from ripping these dupes. We have the HP lead again, as I keep mentioning, to sack and then go for a maximum spike. Quite greedy play, but something you can definitely do in this kind of a spot, all enabled through that extra tempo on stage 3. But we're going to be losing now to the LeBlanc that, well, doesn't really have that much going for it as well. But the player is streaking. We cash out double Sona right now. That's going to give us 5 Shepherd, even more frontline presence, and the mod fits us nicely. And we find a Fiora as well, which is amazing, allowing us to drop the Briar. And now we're going to have some potential, especially also we have now a user for this TG hold if you're going to find. Liz reroll here has made it to level 8 already and is not completely busted, but they have that problem in the Cho'Gath. Maybe the Protector's Vow came in late, does not have 3 items. The Cho'Gath is going to be struggling here. So they are going to be in a little bit of a trouble, and we're going to be picking up wins. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't expect this board to be picking up for that many rounds onto the stage, but it's going to be quite good. Not going to be using a lot of resources onto this. Thresh immediately pick up the JG, going to allow us to improve the builder this way, and you can see why he wants the Voyager Emblem still keeping on to the LeBlanc to gain the mana gen, and it's just absolutely great in stats. We could be ripping our dupes now, right now, unless we are... I mean... What are we chasing right now? I am in confusion. I doubt we're going for Meepsy 3 or Leona 3. I mean, they are 1-star units that we probably wanted to at least 2-star at some point, but very greedy plays. Nonetheless, sometimes you just have to go for these games, and then later on the set people are more inclined to do so, and he's obviously trying to entertain his audience as well as us benefiting from it right now. We also are not that far from the 200 Anima cash out that we could just be picking up. We're going to be picking up the Jinx 3 nonetheless. I mean, we could be chasing Aurora 3 as well, right? That is a possibility, I would assume. If we really wanted it, sure, why not? I suppose that's going to be fine. Into the Master Yi board that has hit Fiora too, so that's going to rip out our frontline. Never mind, she's going to be blown up immediately by that Jinx ult and the LeBlanc retargeting onto her. That is why you want something like an Edge of Night on these units that have the possibility of trolling. 1-star Aurora with another item. Just going to be picking it up, I would assume. But yeah, I believe this whole reason why we were holding on to these extra duplicators is that we also going to be chasing Aurora 3 with this, going some form of an Anima reroll from this. But really, your direction is pretty much whenever you get this tied to, well, how you can slot in 5 Anima and whatever you can flex around. Because the extra Voyager Emblems are going to sort you out quite well, and we're going to be taking out this fast 9 board. This LeBlanc is still putting in an immense amount of damage as well. I mean, we have so many Voyagers to give that damage jump, to also have that extra frontline presence. Now just probably see improving our itemization maybe onto this Jinx. Another Voyager Emblem that gives us 6 Voyagers, so now that's going to sort our frontline out. Still, I would have probably been a little more cautious and opted to just rip this Lawi 3 to establish my dominance in the wins right now and try to close out the rest of the lobby to prevent further scaling from other players, but does not seem to be necessary as we're just simply annihilating their frontline through having 6 Voyager already right now, and the 5 Shepherd is a good frontline supplement. Make it 7 Voyager, I suppose. This game has just scaled into a nonsense. We are on a 5 streak with a board that I would not expect a 5 streak, but hey, all these emblems are going to be paying off, especially since other players do not have that many emblems, and we have the combat augment also for frontline, so I suppose that's another reason. This player playing around some Stargazer flex with that new trait for the Vex. Not going to be a problem for ourselves as we have sufficient frontline burst to get through their frontline, and they are on 1 Vex1, so they're not going to be scaling as much. That cap, just, yeah, to sit on good measure for the Sona, going to be pushing our levels. Are we going to even be utilizing our dupes this game anymore? Just this recommended item onto the Meepsy as well. I don't know at this point. More leveling to level 9, slotting in Rast, because, I mean, we should probably provide decent enough of a value. Now improve our itemization, just get the last item sorted on the Lawi would be my guess. Bramble. I guess we queue into a shifting momentum here. The Ghost fight has removed items onto the Vex, so that's going to be another free win for ourselves. And we are probably going to be facing our final player right there. No, the other player took a round, so we are still in our top 3 situation. Okay, it's a good hindsight of holding on to the front. I mean, didn't have the necessity to have the item right there either. This allows us to... Wait, we are moving off the LeBlanc at this point? Or are we just sacking the round to try to extend the game? Make that Aurora 3 on our bench right now. I suppose we're just trying to extend the game for the entertainment purposes, so we're going to be taking a loss here. And yeah, just gain more items, more scaling, more HP, which is absolutely amazing for ourselves. I mean, the other players are going to eliminate us. We can probably sack this all the way to stage 7 if we truly wanted to, just to see how crazy this board can truly become. But this is just... This reminds me of, like, you know, the time, for example, in set 10 where I managed to hit the 10 hard steal, or whenever you get to these extreme high cash outs. It just feels like you queued up rank and everyone else queued up Chunk's treasure, truly. Sorry, everyone else queued up rank, you queued up Chunk's treasure. There's just so many things, and obviously there are probably some optimizations you can be making around this board, and it's easy for us to say sitting here how we could have improved our optimization or whatever, but so far the play looks quite clean, and you know, there's just so much to do here, especially without a golden remover. You have to take in consideration all those things. Now he's going to be opting to probably go for a Telawi 3, perhaps a last loss that we're going to be taking us, because these big losses are doing us a lot of damage, but we have 19 HP. If we can kill a few units, we should be fine. Making these 3 stars is definitely going to allow us. Okay, we're going to be slotting in our board right now. Leveling, not going to be leveling to 10. I mean, we were fine to be sacking like this because we simply knew that, you know, we have a higher cap than this player has. Even though they have the Graves 2, they have that Vex 2, they have the new that's going to be completely missing ourselves. As soon as we slot in this 8th Voyager, we're going to be picking up a win and cleaning up the game. Definitely one of the craziest, well, let's be real, craziest board I have seen this set. I was unsure where our direction at the start of the game is going to lead us, but we waited for that trade risk pass out. That gave us the possibility to just immediately roll for Anima on the spot where many players would be like, well, this is just a useless emblem, let me rip a reforge on it. He opted to immediately go for it, tempo on the stage 3, and then reach this insane cap, having 12 emblems on his board, everything fully itemized, with earths as well, those emblems. Just an insane cap, nicely playing around that LeBlanc, which is quite flexible of a unit throughout the whole game. I would like to thank you for watching. I hope that you are enjoying the last days of this set and ready for the set 18 PB, as more educational content is going to come back around then. And I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.